It begins in a time when massive animals ruled the plains of the Americas, and in the middle of this harsh world appears a predator whose presence commands respect even from afar. Smilodon, a saber-toothed cat whose three species, gracilis, fatalis, and populator, spread across the continent and vanished around 12,000 years ago, yet remain among the most impressive predators ever to walk the earth. As one approaches this animal, it becomes clear that although it resembles modern big cats, its sloping back, short powerful limbs, enormous shoulder muscles, and up to 20 centimeters long oval saber teeth reveal a completely separate evolutionary path that turned it into a highly specialized hunter. One imagines a creature weighing more than 300 kilograms, and in rare cases over 400 kilograms, heavier than today's lions and tigers, with a compact muscular frame and a short tail that together create an impression of pure strength and stability. Why? The long canines protruding far beyond the jaw were not only striking but designed with an oval cross-section to penetrate deeply into prey, while the skull and neck musculature were adapted to generate tremendous force, giving Smilodon a unique and powerful method of ATA. CK. And although it is often called a saber-toothed tiger, it was not related to modern tigers but belonged to a distinct lineage of Machaerodontidae, differing significantly from living big cats in anatomy and evolutionary history, and holding a special place in the Pleistocene ecosystem. Smilodon is currently divided into three generally accepted species. Smilodon gracilis, the smallest form with a body weight of about 55 to 100 kilograms, roughly the size of a jaguar and living between 2.5 million and 500,000 years ago, and the later, much larger species Smilodon populator and Smilodon fatalis, both of which disappeared around 12,000 years ago. Smilodon gracilis is considered a direct descendant of the genus Megantereon, is mainly known from finds in the eastern United States, and is regarded as the ancestral form from which the more powerful species Smilodon populator and Smilodon fatalis evolved, occupying higher positions in the food chain. The South American species Smilodon populator lived in the eastern regions of South America and, with an estimated weight of 220 to 360 kilograms and a shoulder height of about 1.2 m, was the largest saber-toothed cat known, its canines reaching up to 28 centimeters in length, with around 17 centimeters protruding visibly from the upper jaw. In North America and the Pacific parts of South America lived Smilodon fatalis, which, at roughly 160 to 280 kilograms and a shoulder height of about 1 meter, was intermediate in size between the other two species and differed from Smilodon populator in key skull features and proportions, while the Andes formed a natural barrier separating their rank. Additional names such as Smilodon californicus and Smilodon floridanus have been proposed, but these forms are usually not treated as separate species and are instead considered regional subspecies of Smilodon fatalis, highlighting the internal diversity within this remarkable group of saber-toothed cats. Across the plains and forests of Ice Age America, sites like Rancho La Brea reveal more than 160,000 Smilodon fatalis bones, showing how widely this predator was distributed, with remains found from California to Florida and Patagonia, while farther north its ecological role was taken over by the related genus Homotherium. The countless fossils from the tar pits show that Smilodon lived a life of extreme physical strain, as thousands of bones display injuries such as hip deformities, broken spines, and damaged limbs that often healed, suggesting that injured individuals were supported or tolerated by their social group. A discovery from Ecuador containing 56 associated fossils reveals at least 3 individuals, including 2 juveniles with rare dental traits likely indicating kinship, and an adult that may have been either a related caretaker or an unrelated group member, pointing to extended care and social bonds within Smilodon group. Thus, tooth and bone analyses show that Smilodon was a highly specialized meat-eater hunting animal such as camels, tapirs, ground sloths, and large South American ungulates in forested landscapes, while where patterns indicate that during colder periods it also relied on tougher food like carrion or bone. Although earlier ideas suggested Smilodon attacked massive animals like mammoths or mastodons, the fragility of its long canines argues against this, making it more likely that it targeted young or subadult proboscideans and large sloths by surprising them away from the herd or exploiting confusion, similar to hunting strategies proposed for Homotherium. When the Great Ice Age animals disappeared and the megafauna collapsed at the end of the Pleistocene, Smilodon lost its main prey and thus its ecological foundation, leading to its extinction around 12,000 years ago, with some theories also suggesting that early human activity may have contributed to this decline. For millions of years, modern big cats and saber-toothed cats lived side by side, but environmental changes, the loss of large prey, and possibly human hunting meant that Smilodon could no longer sustain itself, eventually vanishing despite having been a stable part of ancient ecosystems. In taxonomy, Smilodon belongs to the saber-toothed Machaerodontinae, a group divided into several lineages, and the genus was first described in 1842 by Peter Wilhelm Lund, who studied fossils from a cave near Lagoa Santa in Brazil and laid the foundation for scientific research on these animals. Recent analyses place the genus Smilodon at the base of the Smilodontae and suggest that the earliest members of this group likely originated in North America, where Smilodon, Megantereon, and Smilodon evolved before Megantereon later migrated into Eurasia and Africa to form additional lineae. Depending on how the anatomical traits are interpreted, Smilodon may either stand as a sister group to Smilodon and Megantereon or be directly linked to Smilodon, creating different models for the origin of the Smilodontae and highlighting the complex evolutionary history of these remarkable saber-toothed cats. When looking at the entire story of Smilodon, we see a powerful predator that emerged from a long evolutionary line, split into 3 remarkable species, and ruled the plains and forests of the Americas for thousands of years before losing its ecological foundation at the end of the Ice Age and disappearing. Its physical strength, long saber teeth, massive build, and ability to live in social groups made it a unique hunter, not only because of its specialized killing technique but also because fossil evidence shows healed injuries that point to care and support within the group. The wide distribution of its fossils from California to Florida and Patagonia shows how far this predator once roamed, and the finds from Ecuador with juveniles and an adult suggest that Smilodon had social bonds stronger than previously assumed for saber-toothed cat. Its diet ranged from tapirs and camels to large ground sloths and young proboscideans, and depending on climate and prey availability it adapted its hunting behavior, with the fragile saber teeth indicating that it struck with precision rather than engaging in direct combat with giant animals like mammoth. At the end of its story came the collapse of the megafauna, the loss of large prey, and possibly the influence of early humans. And together these factors caused one of the most impressive predators in Earth's history to vanish around 12,000 years ago, leaving only fossils to tell how extraordinary it truly was. As we come to the end of this film, I want to thank every viewer, because it matters to me that people find content that offers calm moments, clear explanations, or simply a space to listen and breathe. And I hope this film has provided a bit of clarity and perhaps shown how fascinating the world can be when we take the time to look a little closer. Many people look for information that is not loud but explained in a clear and human way, and if this film achieved that, it shows that such content has value and that it is important to tell things in a way that anyone can understand, without pressure, without rush, and without complicated language, but simply in a way that feels inviting and easy to follow. I hope this film has helped make the world a little more understandable, because sometimes a quiet moment is enough to grasp something that once felt confusing, and these are the moments I want to create with my films, so that every viewer feels they have taken something meaningful away, no matter how big or small that thought may be. To finish, I kindly ask all viewers to subscribe to the channel, leave a like and activate the bell, because every bit of support helps create new films and keep this knowledge available for everyone, and I want to thank each person for their time, their attention, and their willingness to join me on this journey, because that is what keeps this work alive and makes it possible to tell new stories.